All right. So now that most of you are settled, we are going to begin. So welcome to our program, Access to Capital. I'm Emily Raymond, and I'm a librarian here with the Plano Public Library. I will be moderating the chat for today's program, as well as helping with any technical issues that you may encounter. This program will be presented by Jan Choice with PeopleFund. Before we begin, we do need to let you know about some ground rules that we've set up for today's program. First, you will be muted during this class and you will have your video blocked. You will only be able to see the presenter's screen. At the top of your screen, you can find the Exit Full Screen option if you need to get to other things on your computer. You are welcome to ask questions or request that the presenter repeat information at any time during today's program. You should see an icon at the bottom of your screen that says Chat. Please click on the Chat button to open the chat window. Chat is set to be seen only by library staff. If you prefer, you may also use the Q&A feature, also located at the bottom of your screen, to ask questions. Please note that any inappropriate questions or comments through chat or Q&A will be the cause of your immediate removal from today's class. For all questions, we may answer them directly in the chat or Q&A box, hold until a break, or the end of the class, or answer at the time if the question is more pressing. We will be using the presenter screen to demonstrate, but may share additional resources in the chat box as well. And lastly, a recording of today's program will be available in a few days through the Plano Public Library's YouTube channel. Now, with these ground rules out of the way, let's get started. And I will pass things over to you, Jan.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you all so very much for joining us today. And thank you all to the Plano team for having me. I just wanted to share some things today about access to capital for entrepreneurs. My name is Jan Choice. I am the lending officer for the Dallas-Fort Worth area for PeopleFund. Oftentimes as a business owner, small business owner, entrepreneur, it is very difficult, extremely frustrating, but yet exciting. So considering that, we also want to think of two things that are very, very crucial and very important. One, their product market fit. Someone has to be interested in purchasing your products as well as your services. The other one is how to manage your finances well, including access to capital. So my goal today is to share some overviews about access to capital. First, I wanted to talk about who we are. PeopleFund creates economic opportunities and financial stability for undeserved people by providing access to capital, education, and resources to build healthy small businesses. We are certified Texas nonprofit 501c3, and we were established in 1994. We're a certified community development financial institution, which is a CDFI, and we're a small business SBA lender certified. And we advocate our resources for small businesses. Whether you're a startup or an existing, you can come to PeopleFund. Who do we help? Women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, businesses low to moderate census tract in that area, or whatever areas we look to see if you qualify, but rural businesses, established businesses who have had larger risk. Oftentimes startups and existing, but we also partner with banks and financial institutions in Texas, in our area, to see if we can help them with their businesses and their business owners. Our process. So we also have an education department that if you're kind of stuck and you're not quite sure what direction you're going in as far as access to capital, how much you're needing, how much you're wanting, you would actually contact our office, one of the 1-800 numbers. We're all in Texas. If you reach me in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we would sit and have a conversation or schedule a time where we could look at your loan application, evaluate your goals. If you're wanting working capital, payroll, we look at and talk about that. We have that conversation with you. We build a relationship. We gather the information for the preliminary, whether it's on the phone, we do a scheduled appointment. You come into one of our offices, whatever's convenient for you. We work with you on that. You can submit your application on peoplefund.org. and it should be an easy, painless application. But when you get stuck, we're here. Our office hours are usually 8 o'clock, and you'll find someone from 8 to 6. My office hours are 9 to 6. We do our due diligence as loan officers. We also have lending assistants who work with us to get you your documentation. It depends on the loan products. We have various loan products, whether you're wanting 1,000, 25,000, up to 350,000. We also have Go Green, real estate. We even have certain programs that's up to 5 million. So, and then we look to see what you're needing, what your working capital is, or just kind of what actually are you, what access to capital are you needing? Once we package the loan, we get you ready for underwriting. I will talk to you. One of the lending assistants will gather it. We will see, check your credit. We will look at your cash flow. Some of our programs are not necessarily FICO credit score driven, but we have that conversation with you to see what that looks like. And we have that conversation about your business plan, your financial projections, your risk for the industry, depends on what that is. And we also look at there's any issues or any recommendations we can offer you. We go to loan, we actually send it to underwriting. They will come back with their recommendation, and then we get you ready for closing. Whether you're purchasing a vehicle for your business, or if you're purchasing equipment, we look at that and we get you prepared for closing. We also get you funded, and then your loan is serviced by PeopleFund. So that's kind of just an overview of how that process works. If you decide, once you sit down with us, you're wanting to move forward with a loan application with us. And then the next one, we were talking about the process. It's just reiterating that again. And then our loan readiness. So we talk about your personal credit to get you prepared. FICO scores will allow you or limit you. We look at your unpaid collections if you have any. If not, that's great. Or past due, default student loans, tax liens, child support, whatever it is. If a business owner is having some challenges with that credit, because our goal is to get you ready for a business loan. So PeopleFund's loans would be considered a business loan. You are the personal guarantor. So that's why we look at your personal relationships with your credit. Currently we pull TransUnion. We would do a soft pull until the loan is approved. And once it goes to underwriting, then they would look at a hard pull. But your business loans and your business credit, you start to establish business credit, which would be extremely essential for you as you're going through your journey as an entrepreneur and growing your business. So your source of income, if you're a startup, even for existing, but it depends on the loan products. But we do have one product. If you're a startup, you've been in business for more than 2 years, and it's up to 25,000, which is called the Flash Fund, then we don't necessarily look at your income, but we look at the credit. We have a conversation with you. But we have different products. But for the source of income, we verify via tax returns, your most recent pay stubs to see if the income is stable, retirement, disability pay. We also look at that, which is fine. It's one of the qualifying factors, but we look at the total picture of it to see if we can go ahead and get your proof of the loan. We look at a business plan. If you're wanting more than 25,000 and greater, it will require a business plan. So we look at your business plan. We go over a resume with you, telling us about the management overview, the summary. If you don't have that, our education department can certainly help you with that. We look at your projected budgets, your profit and loss statements, the use of funds. That means if you're saying, I need 25,000, how am I going to utilize those funds? So you and I, there's a form called breakdown use of funds. We would have that conversation to see how you can better utilize those funds and see what the ultimate goal is for getting the loan. The 2 to 3 year financial projections. We look at your financial statements, a business description, and market research. If you don't have those things, don't shy away from it. You can come to us. We have an educational team that can help you with it. We also have a BIPOC, and we'll talk about that later, that will actually help you with a grant. If you get the loan, you can certainly look at the grant and you dial in just once a week for 8 weeks for an accelerated program, which will allow you to be eligible for a grant, which is extremely exciting, which is separate from your loan and in addition to the loan. We also have a collateral loan. So if we're having some issues in certain areas, we can look at collateral, which is adequate to support your loan 100% for some lenders. Most lenders use liquidation value 50 to 80%, but we do have some funding where you're financed at 100%, so we don't really have to worry about it. But options for the loans, we do have options for the loan with or without collateral. So as I go to the next one for loan readiness, I just wanted to see if anyone have any questions thus far of the materials that I've covered. Okay, then. Well,
Yep,
thank you. If
sorry.
you do,
No
that's
questions so far.
thank you. If you do, just let me know. I don't want to read to you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Loan readiness. Most lenders require the borrower to have equity and personal injections, which is skin in the game. And we also call it owner's equity injection. So some lenders will say they need 10 to 15%, and that could be your own funds. That could be receipts that you've spent for your business. If you bought a laptop, if you bought a computer, whatever that is, that will actually help you with your owner's equity injection. So that just means you have to show, depends on the loan product, you put at least 10% or 15% of your own funds. That can be cash, inventory, real estate. We look at it to see what loan product you're wanting to qualify for and have that conversation. Your business must be competitive as assessed by the lender. So we would look at that. It doesn't mean that if it's innovative, creative, it is not competitive. So we would look at it on a case-by-case basis. We do have some that would require additional information when we get ready to submit it to underwriting, but we usually just look at it and have that conversation with you to make sure that we fully understand your business concept and model. And character, honorable and meeting past obligations. That's where the personal credit comes into play. Have you met past obligations according to your credit history? That's not just maybe a no for now, but you and I would have that conversation. I would also talk to the educational department. We have business advisors. We have our educational team that are experts in the field, and we can have that conversation to see where we can get you to put you in a position of getting a loan. So it may not always be a no. It could be a no for now, but let's look at this and see if we can help you strategize to get you where you can come back. And I've seen that in the past with some of our clients. And understanding financials is essential to any well-run business. Your profit and loss statements that I spoke about, your balance sheets to show us how you're balancing the business. If you're a startup, you won't have it. You may not know, but you can come to us and our educational team will certainly roll up their sleeve and kind of help you and say, okay, maybe you want to, tweak this or work on this, but we can certainly look at it with you. And your cash flow. I would actually look at your income or your taxes statements or your W-2 to see if it's cash flowing. And the great thing about now, this is a wonderful opportunity because we're in November. So tax season is coming around. We can look at it to see how well you've done if you're a startup. Why is it essential? It's essential to file your taxes, or because sometimes business owners feel like, oh, I haven't been in business long enough. Do I really need to file my taxes? So that's a conversation we can certainly put you in front of with the business advisor to help put you in that position of getting a loan. So some of the required documentation that we ask for is your state issued ID. It can be a driver's license from the state. It can be, you can be a passport. We look for the state ID or driver's license, bar information form. That's the form that we will give you. It's a questionnaire that you're filling out. Your personal financial statements, it talks about your assets, your liabilities, and I go over it usually with all of my business customers, clients to help them, and I look at it with them. And we also look at some information on your credit report, and we fill out the personal financial statement. verification of income, your pay stubs, your 1099. We have a conversation about how you get paid so we can provide the documentation needed. Benefits letter, award letters, things like that. We do ask you for business returns, 3 months, and personal returns, 3 months. You said, well, I don't have 3 months of my business returns. It's okay. Then we would have you, once you open your business account, you would provide that information to us. And then we would ask you for 3 months of your personal bank returns. If you're relatively new to all of it, we would just have that conversation and then go from there. 3 years tax returns. Some loan products, you don't have to have tax returns if you're a W-2 or benefits, award letters, things like that. We wouldn't ask you for tax returns, but it depends on the loan product, which would depends on if you need to provide 2 to 3 years personal tax returns or business tax returns. So if you're new, you probably wouldn't have it, but we would have that conversation with you. We talked about the resume or executive summary of who you are, management overview. Tell us a little bit about your business. So I'm new to this, but I've been an expert in the industry, or I've been in this industry, which has helped me transition to where I am now. Those are all wonderful things to put on your resume and on your executive summary. So, and we would talk about that if you don't have it.
Jan,
So,
sorry,
go ahead.
we do have one question that popped up if you would like me to answer or ask that of you. So the
Yes.
question is, I have access to the credit bureaus for my personal finances. How many months, years of data do you need to help evaluate it?
Okay. Can you repeat that to make sure I have it
Yes.
right?
Yes, of course. So I have access to the credit bureaus for my personal finances. How many months or years of data do you need to help evaluate it?
That's a great question. So we pull TransUnion and we pull a soft pull when we're looking at it, meaning once you decide you're going to submit an application on peoplefund.org, the credit will come into me and we will look to answer your credit. Some of the programs that we have are not necessarily FICO credit score driven, but we will look at if you've been late for the last 6 months on a credit card installment payment, whatever that relationship is. We look at the last 6 months on some of the programs. Some of the programs we don't look at them as necessarily, but we look at your collections. We look at charge-offs. So if the charge-offs is more than $250, they have to be, of course, we have to address that. Collections have to be satisfied or resolved, or you've made a payment arrangement. And we can certainly have a conversation with that. So to answer your question, we look at the overall totality of it. For example, if you've had a BK, it's been discharged more than a year to two, that's fine. If it's been dismissed, that means you did not satisfy the bankruptcy. We would have that conversation to see why and to look at the total picture of your credit report. So if you've been really responsible in this regards, but you said, I decided I did not want to fulfill the bankruptcy. However, I've made payment arrangements and I've been paying on time. You can see it from my credit report, the relationship. We can look at that and submit it to underwriting, but it just has to make sense to underwriting. That's where we're different from larger banks and financial institutions. Being a CDFI, we have a little more flexibility when it comes to our underwriting criteria. Some of the larger loan products. So if it's more than 25,000, you're looking at, we use SBA guidelines and requirements. So, but still, as a CDFI, we can look at some of the entire picture to make sure it makes sense and then write it up and submit it to underwriting. So I hope I answered your question.
They said thank you, so I believe so.
Okay. And forgive me, my allergies are acting up really bad today. The next thing, some programs we don't have to have business returns, but the larger loans, 2 to 3 years tax returns, business and or personal. So if you want a loan up to 25,000, but you are a business owner, you've been in business for more than 2 years, if it makes sense when we're looking at all the documentation and you don't have negatives and on your asset statements, you have been financially responsible on your credit report. We don't ask you for financial documents at all if it's 25,000 and under 25,000. But if you are a startup, you say, well, I need working capital and I've only been in business for 6 months. That's fine. We would just look to see, one of the requirements as a business owner, you have to have additional income. It could be your Social Security, your retirement, or your wage earner. We would look at that to see if you cash flow, and then we would submit it. Now, if you're looking at loans over 25,000, we would ask you for 2 years of tax returns if it's up to 50,000. But if it's more than 50,000, that's when we ask you for 3 years of tax returns, whether it's business and personal or both. And then we ask you for 2 or 3 years of financial statements. It depends on the loan product. We ask you for internal revenue, EIN, employment identification number. So you would go into ris.gov and get that. Make sure your business name matches your documentation. So if you decided you're going to be named this, just be consistent when you're looking at the Texas Secretary of State for your certificate of filing information through the state. Make sure all of your documents for your business name, if you don't mind me saying it, matches your business bank statement, your business bank accounts. So as you're opening up a business bank account, make sure all of your documentation match the name of your business, because that'll make your life so much easier when you're wanting to get a loan for working capital, even a grant for working capital. We're just wanting to make sure that your business name matches with EIN, internal revenue. It matches Secretary of State, certificate of filing information that you're going to get from the state. Or if you have a DBA, doing business as in the county that you live in, just make sure it matches. We will also ask you for, just to show that you're registered in the state with those things that I've just mentioned, a collateral description sheet. We'll provide that for you. And you say, I don't have any collateral, and that's fine, but we'll send that form for you. If you say, I do have this and I want to use it for this to qualify, we would have you fill out the collateral sheet and kind of go from there. The next, we talked about a breakdown use of funds. How are you going to use those funds? It's going to be on an actual form, and you're going to tally it up to the total amount for the loan amount. So if it's 25,000, you said, I want a laptop for 5, I want a printer for 5, whatever it is, it must total whatever that loan amount is. And the loan officer, which is myself or whomever, whatever county that you're going through, if it's Austin, Houston, we're there too. San Antonio, Lufkin, Lubbock, wherever it is, the loan officer would be able to help you. And if they're not available, one of us would be able to accommodate you with that as well. Verification of use of funds, quotes, invoices. So you're going to have a breakdown use of funds, but you're going to also just go online if you don't have an invoice and pull it up and say, okay, I want a laptop, and it's going to cost me $5,000. I found it on eBay. I found it on Amazon. Just attach it. That way you'll have documentation and it will help you. So you'll know exactly how much you're needing. And if not, you're not going to need this much in this regards for equipment or working capital, but I now can spend this on payroll. So we also cover payroll as well, up to so many months. So for full-time and part-time employees. And then we have a business debt schedule. We'll help you fill out if you need to. And we have you fill out what's called credit unavailable elsewhere form. So if you've gone to bank, A, B, and C bank, and they did not give you a loan, or you didn't go through any at all, there's a form you can fill out to say, I did not submit an application anywhere, and sign it. And that kind of helps us as well as far as our tracking and information purposes. What makes CDFIs and PeopleFund different? We're a nonprofit lender. We support all kinds of neighborhoods and all kinds of zip codes, area codes, businesses, and we're a little unique in that regards compared to some of the banks. Some of the banks oftentimes want different kinds of businesses. Like this year, we're going to be honing in on this. This year, maybe this. But with us, we look at all of it to see if it makes sense and if we can help you with it. No established minimum FICO score in certain products that we talked about. Low loan equity contribution, the 10% to 15% owner's equity injection. Some of our loan products, you don't have to have that at all. So we would look to see if you say, I don't have 10%. So we would have that conversation to see what programs and product you qualify for. We have flexible loan terms and a no prepayment penalty. tailored technical assistance and business education. We have our educational team. Once you get a loan, they're there to help you along the way, so you're not out there by yourself. We have classroom instructions. The BIPOC program that I talked to you about is once a week, and I think it's an hour a week, but it's once a week for 8 weeks if you want to take part in that while you're navigating through your loan application. So when you get approved for your loan application, you get approved for your BIPOC. But it's a two-part. You have to do both. But if you said, I don't want to do the BIPOC and I don't want to do the loan, we certainly have an education team. You can reach out to me and I can forward it to you or anyone at PeopleFund. Loan application support and loan readiness. And we have a variety of loan products. So if you need those, when we get off the phone, I can certainly send you that information. And you just email me and say, I am interested, and I can send those to you. The business and education and training, they provide coaching, individual one-on-one training if you need it. And I always talk about it. I came from a large banks, and as well as the government. And one thing I can say about PeopleFund that I would like to elaborate on, we have a phenomenal educational team that are professionals in their trade. And we have some that are professors, I wouldn't mind, but they're really professionals in the industry and with a wealth of knowledge. So if you have any questions or if you get stuck on something, please reach out to us and we can get you in touch with one of the educational teams. We have business training programs, 10K individuals served annually. We have loans and hours of education. In 2023, we had over 23,972. But as of now, we have grown. So I needed to get that information. But we have just finished one accelerated program of the BIPOC training program, which is a part of the grant program. So we've been growing that as we go. We even have different interest rates for our borrowers as well as our veterans. So that's one thing we're very, very proud of. Business planning, small business financials, access to capital, personal and business credit. We talk about how to grow your business credit. We also talk about how the great thing about business credit is sometimes it does not impede or embark, or when you're buying certain things on the personal side, they will look at that in underwriting to see if they don't have to, they can omit the debts in your debt to income ratio. So that's another conversation, but business credit is really, really important as you're growing. Market research, business startup guidance. So we do provide that, including if you're an existing business owner and you're wanting to grow in a different area or a different space or add an additional business, we can look at that with you. Educational, we talked about the BIPOC. It goes up to 10% of the loan amount with a maximum of $5,000. So you said, you know what, I'm just going to get a loan for $25,000. I don't need up to $50,000 for the BIPOC. We will give you up to $5,000. So if your loan is $25,000, you would get $2,500 in a grant when you finish the actual BIPOC program and you finish the actual training program. So that's something that we help you with. And then we were talking about credit. So if you had those things that were not resolved and they were unresolved on your credit, you can certainly use the grant to help you pay off some of those things to help you qualify for the loan. So we would certainly look at that for you as well, which is different sometimes than what banks can or cannot do. People Talks, we have our entrepreneur educational training. We have our training on how to do business plans, projections, P&Ls. They'll even look at it. We'll also partner with you so we can help you as you have a conversation with your CPA or whomever. Our job is not to really replace any of those, but to be a good partner in the community. We community with banks all the time. Banks and people and referrals to us. And so our goal is to partner with the community and be in the co-ecosystem, however, coexist in our ecosystem, however we can, and have a great relationship with you all, with entrepreneurs, with our bankers, with our CPA, our professionals. So that's something that we take pride in. I meet with bankers all the time. So they'll send customers to us all the time. And then we have lunch and learns quite often. We have the People Source. periodically where we put our entrepreneurs together. We even have trainings. We even have different kinds of cohorts that we do throughout the year that we sponsor even throughout the year. So, and that we host. So if you go onto our website or if you want more information, you can reach out to me or our educational team. And that's it. I didn't know I was going to go so fast, but our partnership, even with Plano, the library, we do. Thank you all. We're here. We work together to get our entrepreneurs the assistance and the educational materials that you need. We take pride in that. We're in the community. If you ever need us, you can call us if you're sponsoring an event or you're hosting an event and you say, I need some direction. Please feel free to give us a call. This is my telephone number. It comes directly to me. And this is my email address. But you can also, if you don't have it, you can go online and get access to PeopleFund and get in touch with any of the lending officers or lending assistants that you need in your area. And that's all I have. And thank you all for joining me so very much. I appreciate it. Emily?
Yes. So again, if you have any questions, please do put those in the chat box or the Q&A box, and I will pass them along to Jan. We'll take a few moments here just to see if anyone does have any questions. I'm not seeing any so far, but oops, okay. So I do see one. It says, when is the next BIPOC session?
We're graduating, if you will. That's a great question. If you will email me, I can give it to you to see if we're going to have one in December. I want to at least verify that because we're in the midst of finalizing the actual BIPOC now. So we have the people that are graduating. You also, once you take the 8-week program, training program that's once a week, we have a big graduation. So that's why I can't give you that answer today, but I can certainly email it to you. I can check with the BIPOC and find out when our graduation team is, because we actually invite you online. We showcase your business. We invite you to the graduation, and then we get you prepared for your grant. So I will find out if we're going to have one in December. We're planning to, but I do want to confirm that so I can get the dates for you, and you can know exactly what day we're going to be meeting when you call online and when that next cohort is going to be starting up.
Lisa, thank you.
Welcome.
So I don't see any other questions coming in. Take a second here to see if anyone's still finishing typing.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I do not see any other questions coming in. As Jan mentioned, her information is on the screen, including her email and phone number, and I did put it in the chat as well if you would like to copy that. And if questions do come up, please feel free to reach out to her. Again, a recording of this program will be available in a couple days, maybe sooner, through the Plano Library's YouTube channel. I do want to mention quickly that we have a wonderful program called TWOS, or Team Up for Entrepreneurial Success, that we do partner quite often with PeopleFund for. And that is a wonderful resource and networking group that the library hosts once a month. It's typically on the fourth Tuesday of every month, unless there's a holiday or some sort of conflict. That where you can come to the library. It meets at the Haggard Library from 6:30 to 8 p.m. and come for an informational session that is relevant to businesses and entrepreneurs, followed by a networking opportunity with other local business owners and entrepreneurs in the area. Our next two session will be on, I believe, November 18th, again at the Haggard Library from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And the topic will be market research. So we will go over everything, many things market research, as well as show you some tools available to you for free and through the Plano Public Library that can be utilized to complete that market research. But I'm seeing lots of thank yous and great presentation, Jan. So thank you so much
Mm,
for this wonderful presentation. It was
thank you.
very informative.
Thank you all for joining us. And I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. And thank you all so very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. And I will be ending our program for today. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.